I don't know. I cannot read those. It's as everything is logical, even to our understanding. What we study over here, we just heard Brother Jack. He was talking about the higher primary, and by the logic, it means so there's a lower primary graces as well. And of course, it's going to be like the second in hierarchy of these graces, which we have in God and should be in man as well. And thanks to Brother Johnson, who put it all in his writing and classify all of them, which are higher, which are lower, which are secondary, tertiary, and that's helping for us a lot to understand them and to present them. Of course, the thing I know, like all all primary graces, they are having those affection organs, each of them. So especially in God, we see like they are attached to the holy things. So in our case as well, as we develop our character, so like these affection organs would be attached to the holy things. So the direct operation of the higher affection organs produces the higher primary attributes. And the direct working of the lower affection organs cultivates the lower primary, either way we want to call it qualities, graces, or attributes. Speaking of such qualities, being developed must, of course, be understood and applying to God's creatures who are free moral agents, angels and men. And that's what the final goal in all creations. They have to become the free moral agents. It would not be true to say that God has developed such quality by the use of his affection organs. For he has always had and will always have them in infinite perfection, and therefore has always used and will always use them in infinite perfection. Thus, they have not been developed in him, but always been there. When we're talking about God, so there's a lot of mystery to us because we have our own approach. Everything should have some beginning. It's not working with the God, so we just take him by the faith. From the fact that man originally was and new creatures now are images of God, from the fact that fallen man has all man's original affection organs, though in the corrupt condition, and from the fact that man has lower affection organs, we conclude that God has them also. But this thought is not only conclusion, but is also proven by direct scriptures that ascribed such affection organs to God. Having the same general affection organs as man originally had, and new creatures now have, and fallen man now has, though has this or more or less corrupt in later, it means in general, man. We can recognize what gods are by consideration of what men's are. Men especially have especially two classes of lower affection organs in connection with which lower primary graces act. So the selfish and social, or in other word, they called the social, they called also worldly. So let me first name all these selfish. Is firstly the self-esteem, approbativeness, peace, vitativeness, cautiousness, secretiveness, providence, appetitiveness, combativeness or defensiveness, and aggressiveness. These all 10 selfish graces. It's also social, all we call them worldly as well. It's 7 of them. It's amativeness or sexualness, congeniality or spousaliness, parental love, filiality, breathliness, friendliness, domesticity, and patriotism. Those are social. So we don't have, of course, much time to stop on each of them and explain, but shortly I'll mention about those affection organs, which is helping us to develop these graces. And let's notice God has these 2 classes of lower affection organs. Man's self-affection, each this sentiment of distinct organ are first one. As we've seen, it's a self-esteem, love for a proper self-esteem, which is the quality active in his exercising a proper evaluation of himself, that the scriptures teach that God has the quality of self-esteem is evident from those passages in which he describes his person, his attributes of being and of character, his word and his works. Second would be its approbativeness, love for others, good opinion, because all others are his creatures. God desires that they approve of him in his person, attributes, word, and works. He desires them to think highly of him in this respect. Then third one will be peace, love for ease, the affection organ. Not that we are to think of God as ever becoming weary in his body, for that would be an imperfection in him. Nor is the rest of body is a grace. A grace is an excellence of character. By God's restfulness, we mean the calmness and serenity of his spirit. God is never fretted. He is never worried. He is never thrown off his equanimity. Nothing ever excites him. No situation disturbs his calmness. That's about the peace. Then we're talking about the fourth one, love for life. God has life. Yeah, he has the highest form of life in himself. Immortality, a death-proof condition. Not only has God this highest form of life, but he is also the ultimate source of life to all that live. We know that everything is from him and by him. Then next grace is going to be combativeness, love for defending self. God cannot be attacked in his person by physical act, but he certainly is attacked in his person, character, word, and works by wrong theories and practices. Satan, adversary, is the chief attacker of God in these ways. Number 6, it's aggressiveness. love for attacking the injurious, the affection organs. The preceding grace shows him as active in self-defense, in shielding himself, his people, plan and works from attacks. This quality shows him as active in attacking obstacles, whether these are wicked person, principles, acts, condition, or organizations. This feature of his character especially displays itself in connecting with his carrying out his plan. 7, it's cautiousness. It's pretty much close to combativeness, but love for safety. The quality of carefulness or watchfulness imply danger which one's senses and against which he shields himself. In himself means his person or character. God is in no danger, for none can harm him in his person or character, but with the enemies that he has, his plan, the people and works could be harmed if he did not exercise carefulness or watchfulness with respect to them. Therefore, God's love for safety is not directed against danger to himself personally, but to danger to his interests as they center in his plan, people, and works. Then we'll go to secretiveness. The affection organ, love for concealment. It is the quality that God exercises in manifesting his love for concealment. He uses his secretiveness to ward off disadvantages from his people and his works or plans, and to secure to them certain desirable advantages. He always uses his secretiveness in harmony with sincerity, honesty. The abuse of secretiveness makes people untruthful, deceitful, and hypocritical. We know as that God revealing his plan, he doing it slowly and on time. Everything should be timely. Then we have the number 9, we have providence. Love for possessions. By God's attribute of providence, we mean that quality whereby he gains and retains possession, with which he supplies his coming needs as to the universe, as its creatures, and carries out his purposes, his needs. It means the necessities of his plan and people. There are many needs that God's plan has in the way of agents, instruments, arrangements, spheres, etc. of operation. I myself did understand very well why it's going to the selfish, because mostly God provides for everyone else. But the word providence, it's actually mean that he's moving his plans, and that's all is his, like what he planned in the beginning, and he tried to bring it to the conclusion the way he sees it. Then we go to 10.1, which is appetitiveness, which is actually mostly belong to the people, not to God. There is such like a love for food, like love for food. God has no affection organ corresponding to love for food, as we use that word in its natural sense. For love for natural food is implanted in natural beings to inside them to take nourishment to replace the depleted cells of the body. By cells matter gotten from natural food. God has an incorruptible and immortal body. Therefore, this is not cell wastage in his body, and thus no need of food to supply cells to replace such wastage. We speak spiritually when we talk of our partaking of God's word as our eating it. It is the food of which our spirits, new creatures, feeds. Then the same is a love for knowledge. It's also go to appetitiveness, which produces intelligence, a lower primary grace. God does not love any knowledge as a thing that he longs for, and does not have, for he has all knowledge, has always had all knowledge, and will always have all knowledge. His store of knowledge is infinite. It can neither be increased nor diminished. There is also a love for making oneself agreeable to others. That's the 12th organ of affection organ. So we speak of this affection as selfish, not in the sense of their being sinful, but in the sense of their being concerned with oneself. There is a righteousness, selfishness, and it is approved as such in the statement, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." And all things whatsoever you would desire that men do unto you, do ye even so unto them. In fallen man, his selfish affections are become more or less sinful, but this is not the case with the God's selfish affections, nor with those of Adam and Eve before their fall, nor with those of Jesus. The second set of man's lower primary affection is social. Each of those affection has its own organ for activity. These affections are, it's love for the opposite sex. There's been no sex in God. There is no sex love in him. He not having parents, brothers, or sisters. He, of course, does not have corresponding qualities. Love for parents, brothers, or sisters. Thus, there are a certain affection that human beings have, which God does not have. He does not have a wife in our sense of word. Nevertheless, God retains the covenants whereby he develops his children are scripturally set forth as those of husband to a wife. Thus, he is set forth as a husband of the covenant that develops the little flock and the other elective classes. There's another social, which mostly this like a social, they are belong to God's creation, because they had to be developed. So like a love for the member of one's family, including husband, wife, parents, children, and brethren. Third one going to be love for relatives. Fourth, love for pets, love for home, love for native land, love for friends. Some of these in the form just mentioned God has, but other he does not have. God, of course, has no father, mother, brother, or sister. We conclude that he does not have a pertinent organ department for the operation of these affections. nor has he a spouse, or in our understanding, the word. Those belong to man. So, and I'll finish. I think my time is gone, and I hope that we all stay dedicated and develop all those lower primary graces, but do not forget they are subordinated to higher primary graces, which Brother Jack was talking about. So God bless you all. Thank you.